So I have certainly driven on a single charge much farther than 200 miles, even 280 miles before, but this is the longest single drive I think I've ever taken, picking up my daughter from overnight camp. You can see about 8,870 miles on the car. I got it in March, so I do a fair amount of driving. Should be fun. I'll be back. So we are underway, and I'll be doing about 65 throughout as long as traffic allows me. I'll be doing about 65 most of the way. Middletown is kind of up in the mountains, what we in Maryland call mountains. So this will be the first time I've had the Bolt on any kind of mountainous area. But it's only about 1,200 feet, I think, but we started out at sea level mostly. Okay, we're about 48 miles into the trip, and we're averaging 42 miles per kilowatt hour, going at a pretty good clip at 70. Approaching Frederick, Maryland, as a matter of fact. I wanted to bring up something that gave me a little bit of a problem for a while. That was how to bring actual fresh air into the Bolt without using the air conditioning. None of the vents seem to be able to just naturally flow air in. So what I did was, what you can do is just hit the on button and run the fan. And as you can see, it doesn't affect the mileage compared to when you hit the air conditioning. That brings it down, as we all know, significantly. So it's great just bringing in the fresh air and running the fan, and it's nice and cool, 73 degrees outside today. So I usually run with the fan on and blowing, and again, it doesn't affect the mileage at all. Okay, we're just crossing 100 miles. It says that we're 153 miles still of range. This was kind of interesting. That big blip there was coming down a pretty steep mountain, and then that low section right before it is going up. So I'm averaging 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour, and I picked up the girl. She's here. Hi. She had a great time. So we're about halfway through our total journey today. Okay, so we've gone from Middletown, Maryland to Annapolis, Maryland. We're 150 miles into the trip, 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour, and it shows 117 to go. And we've used 34.4 kilowatts. Girl is asleep, but we're here to get her cast off. If you can see the cast way out here, but we're here to get it off. She had it on. Oop, there it is. Right there. And but we have more driving to do after we get this cast taken off. 118 miles left on the predictor. So we're 34.4 kilowatt hours in. Girl has her brace on now. We got the cast off.
It's blue on the inside.
Blue on the inside. That's cool. So we're on our way to the University of Maryland. It's about 34 or so miles away from here. So we'll check back in, but that's still not the end of our day. Okay, a quick check-in from going to the University of Maryland, but it got up a little warm today, so it's 87, so I have the air conditioning on, as you can see. And let's see how much it drags my range down. Not terribly. 97 to 103. Let's turn it back on here. Definitely worth it because it's getting hot. 96. Okay, just a check-in. Okay. We're almost 180 miles into our journey, and leaving College Park, going back home towards Severn, Maryland, which is about 25-30 miles away. So we'll see how we go from there. Definitely going to have the air conditioning on because it's 92 degrees. Let's turn it on now and see what happens to our range. From 87 to 82. Okay. Okay, back home again. We have traveled 202.7 miles. We've got 62 left. That's with some air conditioning. As you can see there, climate control took 3% of the battery and 97% for the drivetrain. And we used 46.5 kilowatt hours and out of the 60s. So we certainly are going to do better than the estimated 238 miles. Those of you who are Bolt owners know that I don't think I've ever gotten that low. This trip was the majority of it at 70 miles an hour, and the last 50 miles, maybe 60 miles, were with air conditioning, and we would have done about 264 miles. So anyway, that's my road trip for today.